Harvey Wallbanger got a ground-saving trip. He has the short stretch to work with. Harvey Wallbanger continues to close. Here's Harvey Wallbanger in epic fast. It's Harvey Wallbanger! Harvey Wallbanger, the thoroughbred variety, wins the Holy Bull. Another twist of fate, swings for home, opens up 4 lengths, a 5-length lead for another twist of fate, a 7-length lead as he comes to the 16th pole, and look at this, he is the real deal. Another twist of fate in a romp here in the El Camino Real Derby.
Let's quickly take a look at the post positions for the Grade 3 Lexington Stakes at Keeneland Racetrack for these 3-year-olds. The number 1 is Shang. He's 15-1. Johnny Velasquez has the mount. In 5 career starts, he has 4 wins in 1 second, so he has a nice resume. 94 U.S. time form that a lot of people thought was a little bit boosted or inflated, and we're going to see once he breaks out of the gate if those numbers are going to hold true. Regardless, he has an opportunity to make an impact in this race. Coming out of the number 1 is Shang at 15-1. Number 2 is Hawaiian Noises. In 4 career starts, he has 3 wins, and he was first on March the 9th in the Animal Kingdom Stakes, so he's a horse that people are going to take a look at. Many people think the top 2 horses are not up to the class level of the primetime contenders in this race, and number 3 is one of those primetime contenders in the minds of many, named Sueno for Keith DeSormo. In 6 career starts, he has 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2/3, never been off the board. He's 7-2, and Keith DeSormo decided that he needed a little bit of insurance with only 28 points despite his efforts in 2019, that he needed to enter in the Lexington to get those extra added points to pad his resume points-wise to get into the Kentucky Derby. Number 4 is in a similar situation. He's going to probably be the post-time favorite. That's the El Camino de Real Derby winner and the runner-up by a scant neck to Todd Pletcher's Cutting Humor in the Sunland Derby, another twist of fate. Blaine Wright decided to make the trip to Kentucky, get his horse acclimated to the Bluegrass State, and run in this Lexington Stakes. He has 30 points in comparison to Sueno with 28. So they just felt like that instead of playing the waiting game and be completely on the bubble on the outside, looking in at the top 20 qualifiers, decided to make his entry in this race in 5 career starts. He has 3 wins in 1 second. That runner-up finish in the Sunland Derby. He gets the services of Javier Castellano, who's been real hot, red hot at Keeneland, to ride the son of Scat Daddy. Number 5 is Harvey Wallbanger, and of course he is of the much maligned 8th place finisher of the Florida Derby, 29-1 winner of the Holy Bull Stakes for trainer Kenny McPeak, who finished 3rd in the Bluegrass the previous week with Signal Man. He's trying to get Harvey Wallbanger in a position to maybe have an impact in the classic races. It looks like he won't qualify for the Derby even if he wins this race. He's 8-1 in 6 career starts. He has 2 wins in 3 seconds. That one off the board finish came in the Florida Derby. People believe, like a lot of the closers in the race, they were pace compromised by the fact Hidden Scroll didn't go and Maximum Security was able to get a pretty easy lead. But regardless, Harvey Wallbanger is a dead closer, and he is going to have to employ some forwardly placed tactics in order to have any shot with this short stretch at Keeneland to hit the board here. Harvey Wallbanger is 8-1. Number 6 is Chase the Ghost. He's 20-1 in 7 career starts, 1 win in 2 seconds. He was 6th in the LeCompte and 8th in the Risen Star, 9th in the Risen Star. So he's a horse that, you know, at 20-1, people are thinking that what is he, you know, does he really belong in here? So we'll just have to wait and see how he performs. Chase the Ghost, 20-1 out of post 6. Number 7 is returning to the scene of his most notorious crime as a racehorse, and that would be in the Breeders' Futurity at 70-1. That was Nick's Go, and of course he's at 12-1. His last 3 efforts since that 70-1 score, or his last 3 efforts since finishing 2nd, the game winner in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile after winning the Breeders' Futurity at 70-1, have been atrocious. He was 13th in the Kentucky Jockey Club, 5th in the Sam F. Davis, the prep for the Tampa Bay Derby, and then he got his horseshoes melted off by much better in that torrid pace of the Gotham Stakes. He finished 7th there. He does return to a track that we know that he likes. In 8 career starts, he has 2 wins, 1 second, and 1/3. Again, he has not been very good running in correction to to the Kentucky Jockey Club 11th, 5th, and 7th. But again, he'll probably get a few dollars being thrown his way at the windows in the belief or in the hopes that people believe that he will be a different horse at the Keeneland racetrack. Knicks Go 12-1 out of post 7. Number 8 is a horse that had promise going into the Risen Star. His name was Owendale out of Brad Cox's barn. His Beyer speed figures and his time form equals a 76 when you crunch the numbers and you do the math. The Beyer at 93, the time form 96. A lot of people just don't think he's really fast enough. He's 20-1. As I said before, 7 starts, 2 wins, 1 second, and 1/3. He was 8th in the Risen Star. So he's going to have to step up in terms of from a speed figure standpoint. Owendale, number 8 at 20-1. Number 9 is a horse I really like, as I've aforementioned in previous podcasts over the last few weeks. For those who are confused about the form of the Tampa Bay Derby, were indecisive about how good the horses were, I said all along that this race was as good or better than the Florida Derby in terms of preps in that state leading up to the Kentucky Derby, and Zenden was a byproduct of one of those preps, the major one at Tampa Bay Downs. In the Tampa Bay Derby, he finished a very credible 4th after going pretty fast on a wicket pace with well-defined. He finished strongly. He didn't completely fall apart, survived all of that, finished a very credible 4th, only got 5 points out of that. So even if he wins here, he's probably not going to make the Derby, which is kind of a shame. Sort of similar to Sir Winston, but he had his chance in the Bluegrass. He didn't run so well. Zenden gets his opportunity to at least give his connections consideration for perhaps maybe the middle jewel, the Preakness. He certainly is a horse that's going to be a one-turn terror around in the shorter route races or the shorter events, in addition to being able to stretch out a little bit and be spotted appropriately. But we'll find out a lot more about to the extent of where that goes in the Lexington Stakes. He's 8-1 in 4 career starts. He has 2 wins and 1 second. As I said before, 4th in the Tampa Bay Derby after those torrid fractions of 22.79, 45.85, and then 109.57 for the first 3 quarters of a mile. So he's got turn of foot. He's going to be dangerous in there, and he's one of those horses that you got to take a look at coming out of what I think is a very strong Tampa Bay Derby. Zenden, number 9 at 8-1. And then number 10 is a horse that's been on the trail, has had mixed results. His name is Royland, trained by Tom Amos, who of course is not only a fine trainer but a very, very sharp, incredible broadcaster. And he is 12-1. In 7 career starts, he has 2 wins, 1 second, and 1/3. He was 4th in the Risen Star, ran a pretty good race that day, and then he was 6th in the Louisiana Derby. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was either 3rd or 4th in that race. Ran very well. Just wasn't a factor in Louisiana Derby to Tom Amos and for those the connections, but he still ran well, and he actually is a good play at 12-1. Again, in 7 career starts, 2 wins, 1 second, 1/3, and then a 4th place finish of credibility and of note in that Risen Star. So that's the field, and those are the post positions for the 2019 Lexington Stakes. Let's take a look at who we think, or who I think is going to win this race, and how you may want to wager on this Lexington Stakes. The upset special is Knicks Go. As I said before, he is returning to the scene of his most notorious and grisly crime, winning that Breeders' Futurity at 70-1. And then he held his form well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, running second, the game winner. And then his last 3 races have been a complete, disaster, a trifecta of disasters. But he is my upset special, the number 7, the number 4, Knicks Go the 7, upsetting Another Twist of Fate, the 7, the 4, the 3, Sueno, the number 9, that would be Zenden. 7, 4, 3, 9. That's the upset special. Now, my scenario number 3 is Sueno winning this race. He used pace pressing tactics versus his closing style in the Sham Stakes and the Southwest in the Louisiana Derby, and it kind of backfired on him, but he still held on to finish 3rd. But it still is good if he can qualify here, that he does have tactical speed in a race which you're going to see a lot of dead closers that are going to have to, as I said before about Harvey Wallbanger, adapt their tactics and show a little bit more forwardly placed strategy at 1.25 miles quarter. Now, if Sueno can get in, he's going to have to do that here. Showing a little speed here also will be a good idea, even though you don't want to take the 8.5 furlongs for granted, but he's been 9 furlongs already. He looks like a really good pick to win. So in the bottom end of my trifecta of superfectas, he's the winner here. The number 3, the number 9, Zenden holding on, the number 4, Another Twist of Fate, and then the number 5, Harvey Wallbanger, actually coming on to pick up some pieces there. The 3, the 9, the 4, the 5. And then when looking at my top 2 superfecta scenarios, I think Another Twist of Fate will run well, so I'm picking him as my sort of my number 2. The number 4, the number 3, Sueno, the number 9, Zenden holding on to finish 3rd, and then the number 1, Shang at 15-1. I think he might actually be a horse that can fit in with these horses. Another possibility, you could maybe use the 5, Harvey Wallbanger, on the tail end of that, but I'll go with the 4, the 3, the 9, and the 1. But like I said, I'll tell you some horses that I think you can use in conjunction as a supplement to these. And then my final pick is going to be Zenden to upset this field, beating Another Twist of Fate, the 9, the 4, the 3, Sueno running well, and then the number 10, and that would be Royland picking up the 4th place spot. So I think that's a little bit of an odd pick right there. I expect Another Twist of Fate to actually win this. Between him or Sueno, they're probably going to be the 2 horses that win, but I like Zenden's race in the Tampa Bay Derby. I think he can hold on there on the front end, although Another Twist of Fate may show his speed the same way he did in the El Camino Real Derby, and the distance shouldn't be a problem. So I'm not overconfident that Zenden is going to win here, but I have a hunch that I think off the Tampa Bay Derby, he should run very, very well. The pace will probably be pretty legitimate, may not be quite as wicked as what went on in Tampa, but then again, he might be a horse that can hold up to that. Going a mile and a 16th of distance, I don't think will be a problem for us. So I have the 9, the 4, the 3, and the 10. But again, my number 1 really is Another Twist of Fate, the 4, beating the 3, Sueno, the number 9, and then of course, you know, you can use maybe the number 5, Harvey Wallbanger. Again, horses like Harvey Wallbanger and Nixco you can use. Royland, probably not a bad play. But those are my picks for the 2019 Keeneland Lexington Stakes.
Nixco at 70-1. Alvin Jimenez. Nixco, tremendous upset in the flavor of Breeders' Futurity.
Another Twist of Fate swings for home, opens up 4 lengths, a 5-length lead for Another Twist of Fate, a 7-length lead as he comes to the 16th pole. And look at this, he is the real deal. Another Twist of Fate. They didn't know if he had the class, but he certainly did. Another Twist of Fate in a romp here in the El Camino Real Derby.